Is a woman's past any of your business? Is how many partners she slept with, all the dirt she's done, all the guys she's dated before she met you, if you're her lover, her mate, her long-term relationship partner, right? Does any of that matter? Okay. Today I'm going to talk about that on Northwest Podcast. I'm going to give some examples from my own life, and I'm going to talk about the kind of guy who thinks that it doesn't matter. Okay. Actually, I'm going to start off with that. First off, let's talk about the kind of guy that thinks that it doesn't matter. A lot of guys out there are calling guys who don't want a loose woman misogynist. They're saying what she does with her body is her business, right? And this is the new neo-feminism, right? The radical liberal feminism, which basically shucks off, throws away any any semblance of morality, and favors immorality, right? The more immoral, the better, right? This is the current system, the current liberal system, I should say, that we live in. Now, not everybody out there is liberals, but there are a lot of these leftist-leaning liberals out there. There's a lot of conservative Christians, but I would argue that even conservative Christian women, to a good extent, are really practicing radical feminism. I don't think these conservative Christian women are not sleeping around. I think they're taking advantage of the world system that we live in, which is getting more and more immoral, easier and easier to simply just be immoral. I've said in many, many videos all the, consequences of immorality. STDs, kids out of wedlock, right? Broken hearts, broken relationships, damage, emotional, mental, right? Domestic abuse, right? Divorce, cheating. The list goes on. When you open that Pandora's box, you're opening, your future up to something that is immoral. Okay? Now, these type of guys come in and say, oh no, it's her choice. Now, I agree on that. I don't believe that women shouldn't have a choice. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what people are saying when they disdain immorality. That's not what people are saying. This is where feminism and these radical feminists twist and distort facts. The fact is that when a guy says he doesn't want a woman who's used goods, what he really means is he doesn't like immorality. He doesn't want a woman who's immoral. And he doesn't want a woman who is suffering the consequences and the damage from that type of lifestyle. That's what this guy's saying. But what women do is it's a very clever thing that they do. They turn it around on the guy and they say, well, she can do what she wants with her body. It's like, I agree with you. Yes, you can do what you want with your body. But that doesn't mean you will not reap consequences. That doesn't mean that you should be excluded from consequences just because you have a right to do something, right? I have a right to smear chocolate all over my body and go running through the streets. I don't believe that's illegal, right? But there could be a consequence for that. Somebody could punch me. Somebody could, take a picture of me and post it on social media, and I'll be the laughing stock. Look at this idiot. What did he do? He poured syrup on his body, ran through the streets, and climbed a tree. Like, there's consequences. What women are really trying to do is they're trying to remove the consequences by calling men who don't like promiscuity misogynists, right? And then they go further by calling you an incel or saying, oh, you're just mad because you can't get any, and all this kind of stuff, right? Which is just further ad hominems, further attacking and drawing away from the point. The reason why you attack the messenger or the guy who's saying, no, I don't like this, is because you're trying to disqualify his point, right? This is why you go for personal attacks. They never argue whether or not it's moral. They never do that, right? I've been in a lot of discussions and arguments with women, male feminists, just general people over this topic Never do they argue whether or not it's moral or not. Never. Because deep down, they know it's not right. They know it's immoral. So, what they're really trying to do by calling you a misogynist is they're trying to essentially shame you. And this is huge. Shaming tactics are huge, right? They're trying to shame you into shutting up, right? If they attack you and call you an incel, you'll stop talking. If they attack you and call you a misogynist, they're hoping that you'll stop talking, right? This is what they're trying to do by shaming you, by using shame language. Oh, you're right. And the funny thing is they're the ones who are immoral, but they're trying to turn it around on you like you're immoral. Oh, you want to control a woman's body. You must be a misogynist. Like, no, I'm not saying that at all. By me saying I don't like skanks, I don't like thoughts, right? I don't want to date a woman who's used goods. By saying that, that's not me trying to force a woman not to do all that dirt that she's going to do, to go sleep around. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what that is. I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. I have standards. And I hope there's women out there who hold themselves to a moral standard, right? That's what guys who don't like that are saying. We want a woman who's pure. We want a woman who hasn't slept around for 5 or 10 years before she met me. We do believe it matters. Yes, it matters. Who you were with before you met me matters. In a big freaking way. It's my business, right? It's my business. Why is it my business? Because you're the one I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, right? I in this discussion about this with this guy recently, and he was saying, objects. You're treating women like objects. Well, okay, I'll go with that. Let's say I am treating women like an object. Would you want a car that 50 other people drove, got all dirty, jizzed on, right? Got all sweaty. Oh, but we cleaned it off. Would you want that car? No, you wouldn't want that car. Well, it's the same with the woman. How many dicks have been up in her? How many guys have shot their DNA up in her? That's gross. It's like, yeah, no, that doesn't stay on her body. Like, she cleans it off. But there's a spiritual aspect, right? Not only is there a spiritual aspect, there's a mental, psychological, and emotional aspect that goes into sex, right? So when a woman has been around, she is not only it's not just physical, right? It's emotional and it's psychological. And actually, women, I've made this point on my channel many times. Women need an emotional connection a lot of times, most women need an emotional connection before they have sex with a guy, even if they're really, physically attracted to him. Women are attracted to aura and masculinity and the way a guy carries himself, and that translates into an emotional attachment or even a psychological attraction that a woman has for a guy. Okay, so that just proves my point even more. When it's not just your body and his body, it's not just your vagina and his dick, it's an emotional connection. There's an emotional phenomenon going on, right? So in a sense, someone once said this to me. They said, every person you sleep with before you meet the person that you're supposed to be with and you're supposed to love for the rest of your life, every person you sleep with before you meet that person, you're essentially cheating on that person, right? You're essentially cheating on the person that you're supposed to be with, because when you give yourself away, right? This is why they used to say, I'm saving myself for marriage. Read into that. What does that mean, saving myself? It means that you're giving away pieces of yourself with all the men that you've slept with. You're giving away an emotional connection. You're giving away emotional energy, psychological connection, psychological energy, right? Because that's how important sex is when it comes to love. This is what immoral people, and particularly like atheists and people who want to attack God and the Bible, they chip away at the seriousness of immorality. Oh, it's not that bad. It's just sex. Oh, it's just sex. It's normal. Like, it's just a part of life. Like, no, there's, and I'm not sitting here like I've had, I've had partners, and I'm somebody who's been hurt from it. I talk about that on my channel. I talk about how my exes hurt me. I talk about how I got emotionally attached. I talk about how, where I messed up was I spent too much time with certain girls and I got a connection. And I talk about how it's easier for women to move on because they're more emotional than men, because when men finally get an emotional connection with a woman, it's serious. And it's like, I've been through all that. So I know what I'm talking about firsthand. There's energy, right? There's energy that is, and it's a part of pair bonding. When you have sex with somebody, you psychologically pair bond with that person. So imagine if your future partner is giving herself away to 40, 50, 60 dudes, 70 dudes, right? By the time she's 25, 30, right? All those experiences, she gave away pieces of herself. Someone once explained to me that that's what it is. It's like, you're really disrespecting your future partner is what you're doing. You're disrespecting your future partner by going out and sleeping around, right? Because you're giving away what was supposed to be meant for them to other random people as if it's like a novelty, as if it's just like a random act, right? So those are more reasons on like a psycho-spiritual level, right? An emotional, spiritual level, which is real and valid. Like, a lot of people are walking around depressed and they don't know why they're depressed. It's because they don't know how to take care of their emotional and psychological life. Spiritual aspects of their emotional and psychological life. They don't know how to do that. That's why there's a lot of people out there walking around really depressed and miserable, because that's the part of their life which is really just decrepit and in shambles, because they're the way they live, or the thoughts that they think, the vibe, or even just giving yourself away. Watching a lot of porn can do that, right? It can get you in this depression. It can get you, and sleeping around, fornicating can get you like that. I can't tell you how many women I've met who just sleep around randomly, and they're the most depressed women ever. They have such low self-esteem, right? It damages women. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because pair bonding is something that is a real phenomenon proven by science. So I could sit here and say it's psychological and spiritual, blah, 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 but pair bonding is real. Look it up, it's science, right? The more men it's for both men and women, actually. The more partners, men, but it hurts women more because women are more emotionally attached to sex. This is science. Go look it up. Pair bonding. The more partners men and women have before they meet the person that they choose to be with the rest of their life, the more likely it is that they will be unable to pair bond. Meaning they can't form a pair bond with that person, right? I've been with so many partners before I met my guy. I can't, like Mia Khalifa. Look at Mia Khalifa, like how easily they had a divorce. Like, she was not able to pair bond with him. Look at how happy she was when she wasn't broken up about it at all. It's like nothing ever happened. Because she doesn't have that depth. She doesn't have that emotional connection, right? Now, a lot of times when women, not now, Mia Khalifa is a radical example because she's rich on her own. A lot of times what really connects a woman to a man is his money. Sorry to say. Right? Sorry to say, it's his money. She needs his money. She needs his stability. She needs his father, father aspects, because women at a certain age, they crave stability and resources, right? It's just a fact. So a lot of times, and this is what we talk about in the Red Pill community, where, when a woman jumps off the cock carousel, when she stops sleeping around so much, and she settles down with a docile beta provider guy, right? He's a nice guy, totally accepts her past, accepts her baggage. We call him the cleanup guy, right? He's the cleanup guy. He comes in and accepts all her baggage, takes care of her kids from other guys, pays her bills, right? Loves her, doesn't judge her. That's what she wants, because that's what she has to get, because she knows she's damaged goods. She knows she's used goods. And this is why they shame guys like us. This is why they use shaming language like, oh, you're a misogynist, or you're a bigot, right? Like, no, I'm just a guy who doesn't, I'm actually a guy who has standards. I'm a guy who doesn't accept immorality. Why? Because I don't want the mother of my kids to be a streetwalker. I don't want the mother of my kids to be an ex-porn star. Like, for real, think about that. The mother of your kids was sleeping with 50 dudes, sucking and fucking, anal, getting trains ran on her. Oh, that's just okay with you? Like, what kind of a man are you? You know what I mean? Like, for real, like, I wouldn't, like, what are you gonna tell your kids? Like, oh yeah, I'm proud of your mom. Like, how could you be proud of a woman who's, that's not misogyny, that's just you having standards. Misogyny, if you look at the dictionary definition of the word misogyny, it's disdain and contempt and disrespect for women in general, for no reason, just because they're women. No, that's not what somebody who doesn't accept used goods is. No, there's a difference. Nuance is important. Learn the facts. You're not a misogynist because you don't like immoral women. You're a misogynist if you don't like women in general. That's a misogynist. If you don't like immoral women, that means you just don't like moral women. You're not accepting of immorality. You don't want the mother of your kids to be immoral. Why? Because it affects her character. It's your business. That's absolutely your business. And this brainwashing, this propaganda from radical feminism that, oh, he's a misogynist, he's a bigot if he doesn't like, no, that's not bigotry. No, that's just a man having standards. Never let them take that from you. Never let them shame you into thinking that you're wrong for having standards. Because men and women will try to do it. There's a lot of men out there, not the majority, but there's a lot of men out there who are trying to shame other men who have standards, who have morals. They're trying to shame them into accepting this crap, right? I'm not saying I'm an angel. I'm not saying I'm perfect. You know what I mean? I've had my rendezvous. I've hooked up, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that you can have standards, right? Now, what I will say is that I didn't start hooking up until after I took the red pill. And it wasn't because of the red pill. It was because I learned about real female nature. Oh, wait a minute. I can't get a wife if I don't have money, right? So I got mad and screw it. I'm just going to go sleep with them, right? Like, why not? They're skanks anyways. Where's any good ones? They all want money. So after I took I don't even know if I say I took the red pill. After I realized this about women, which was a red pill, that's when I started to go mess around. But before that, when I was blue pilled in my blue pill mentality, I wanted love. So, and it didn't happen. I was too nice. I didn't make enough money. I didn't dress nice enough. Wasn't bad boy enough. Wasn't popular enough. Wasn't good looking enough. All these reasons because women have insane standards, right? This is why the red pill saves lives. Better Bachelor was talking about he's going to quit YouTube, and it's a hard world, man. I think that ultimately, there was a time when I thought that the red pill might change the world. It won't. The red pill won't change the world. It won't change society. It won't change the downtrend of the culture. That's going to keep going because what's out there is too strong. The lust, the immorality, it's too strong. It's too easy to get into. Women, it's too easy for women to, it's over, but as somebody who believes in the Bible, to me, this is all part of the end times. That's how I look at it, right? So for people who don't have that perspective, that's unfortunate because I feel like life must suck for you because if you really thought that it was going to get better, there was a time when I thought it might. There was a time when I thought, the red pill was going to change the world. And it's going to change a lot of guys. I think it already has. They're already talking about marriage rates declining, dropping rapidly. So the red pill's working. It's just that women are not, I don't believe women are going to respond to the red pill in a positive way. I don't see it. I mean, maybe somewhat, a little bit, some women, but I just don't think so, because it's too easy. It's too easy for them to enjoy lust. It's too easy for them to just have their cake and eat it too. Why wouldn't they? Oh, I can go sleep with 50 guys, have all these great orgasms, get taken out on dates and dinners and vacations and make a bunch of money on OnlyFans and all this. That sounds great. And then I can settle down with a guy who's not judgmental and like, you're living like a queen. Like there's no downside to that. The downside is you're a bad person. That's the downside. The downside is not only are you a bad person, you're probably going to have a crappy later life, right? You're going to miss out on a lot of things that good people enjoy, and you're probably going to have some bad experiences, and you're probably going to have a bad marriage, right? And you're going to raise your kids, and someday they're probably going to find out that mom was a skank, and it's probably going to make you dysfunctional to some degree. And it's probably going to affect your marriage life. It's probably going to affect your parent life, right? Because it affects your character, that's why it matters. That's why what she does in her past matters. That's why it's your business, guys. Because it's going to ruin her character. It's going to ruin her morals. And she's not going to be a very good mother. She's not going to be a very good wife. I mean, the sad part about all this is that behind it all, nobody's teaching women how to love men. All they're doing is teaching women how to be selfish, how to be divas, how to be narcissistic, right? How to have their cake and eat it too, how to be bad bitches, right? That's all it's doing. We're just teaching women how to be porn stars and be successful at it. Have their cake and eat it too. Well, I can be a porn star and still get married to this millionaire chef. Well, it didn't work out, did it, Mia Khalifa? Right? I mean, that's an extreme example, but I believe this is why a lot of marriages fail. It's not just infidelity, it's sabotage. The foundation of the relationship should be a solid, pure love. If the foundation is shaky because he or she just went out and totally sowed to the wind, sowed their wild oats, right? Hurt her character, hurt his character, he's going to be coming into the relationship damaged. These people are damaged. You ever talk to like one of these TikTok women, one of these Instagram models? There's nothing going on in their head. There's nothing going on in their heart. These people don't have quality character. They're not nice people. They're selfish. They're vapid, right? They're vacuous. Their hearts are a vacuum. Like they don't have wisdom. They're not kind. They're not even basic kind. I mean, they think they are, right? Like, oh, I'm like, no, you're not. That's just a little performance or a little attitude you put on. You're a selfish person. Anybody disagrees with these women, they're quick to argue, quick to call names, quick to be, and because this is how they train them. Oh, you're a diva, and a diva is supposed to be confident, and she's arrogant. That's what that is. It's not confidence. Oh, I'm a bad bitch. I'm empowered, right? They think they're empowered, like I'm audacious, and I'm I don't even know the words, right? They think being a bad bitch is a good thing. No. You wouldn't want to take that type of woman to your grandma. Hey, grandma, here's my wife, and she's got all these tattoos. She's got these big boobs hanging out. She shouldn't even know how to dress. Like most of these women, they have their breasts hanging out because they're advertising. You want to take a woman like that to grandma's? Is she even going to feel shame? Is she even going to know she's wrong in 2021? Do they even have a foundation of something resembling morals, right? Or were they just always, because this new age liberalism, their parents are like that. Their parents are successful hippies smoking weed. Oh, we got a restaurant. You know, we drink wine all the time. We smoke weed. Woo woo. What kind of kids do you think they're gonna raise? Kids who have no morals. Kids who don't know right from wrong. And so you wanna put a baby in that? You wanna raise a kid with a woman who doesn't know right from wrong, who you can't take to grandma, who you can't rely on her if you're down and out. This is how jacked up modern dating is. It's so messed up that we're the ones who have to perform, and they don't even have to be moral. They don't even have to be pure. All they got to do is show up. This is the definition of selling sex. Marriage is just selling sex. Marriage in 2021. It used to be, yes, I do all the 1930s to 1950s, it used to be like, yes, I go out and I work and I have the home and I maintain the finances, but you need to be a good woman. You need to be pure. You need to be a moral, pure woman to raise these kids in a right way. You need to know how to discipline these kids and be pure and moral. How can a woman who's smoking weed, drinking wine, doing OnlyFans, how can she raise good kids? Think about that. Think about that. How could she raise your kids? Would you want that woman to raise your kids? It's insane to think about. And yet they call us misogynists for that. It's like, no, I care about my progeny. That's the thing. I care about my offspring. I don't want them to grow up thinking it's okay for women to be skanks. But this is, if you're a Christian, it's the end times. It's like when morality goes, when a culture becomes immoral, the whole nation falls. Look at history. That's how it's always been. Jesus said in the Bible, like the days of Noah, right? Noah's days were exceedingly evil. He said he likened it to the days of Noah. He likened the end times to Sodom and Gomorrah. Go read the Bible. That's what he says. Like the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. What were they doing in Sodom and Gomorrah? They were just orgies. Go read Genesis, Sodom and Gomorrah. They were having orgies and God just wiped out the whole city. He rained fire and brimstone on the whole city. That's where they get that term, fire and brimstone. It's from that book, it's from that book, Genesis, where they're talking. It's from the book of Genesis, where they're talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. God judged it. God judges immorality. It's a scary thing because we got to look we got to check with ourselves. Are we immoral? I think that a lot of guys in the red pill, that's a cornerstone of their issue with women. It's not that we just hate women. It's not that we're just misogynists in general. Oh, it's just women. It's their behavior. It's their immorality. It's the fact that they don't know how to treat men well. It's the fact that they don't care about us. They don't really love us. They use us for money. They use us for marriage and resources and kids. We're like, we're just like robots to them. We're like a means to an end. We're just a utility. This has been my issue, a cornerstone of my channel since day one. I'm not just a resource machine. I'm not just an ATM. Like I'm a person. I have unique things about me. I have a unique heart that I could share with one woman. We could share special times. But what have they turned marriage into? What have they turned love into? An exchange of resources for intimacy. That's all it is. When I say women are opportunistic, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, this guy can give me a better lifestyle than that guy can. This guy's a bum. He doesn't work. And my sister, my mom, and my family don't like him because he's bummy and he doesn't have a house. He doesn't have a good job. What is that? Is that love? Oh, he has to have money in order for you to love him? That's sad, right? And the crazy thing is, if that really was our duty as men, as it used to be in the 1930s and 1950s, well, what was her duty? She had to be have an upstanding character because she had to stay home and raise the kids. So the guy had to work. She went and raised the kids. Do they have upstanding character in today's day and age? No, they don't. But they still expect us to be that traditional provider, don't they? Isn't that funny, right? So that's why it matters. Never let any little blue pill white knight cuck tell you that, you know, you're a misogynist because you don't accept women sleeping around. It matters. Her past matters. This is solely my opinion, but I believe it's a cornerstone of the red pill. You know, her past matters. This is what we need to learn. We need to know these things. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.